Hey everybody, it's X, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. And today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of Final Fantasy. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one. Not the greatest pack ever. There is just a mana fixing rare here, which is fine to take speculatively, but I'm not going to take it over a solid piece removal like a Fatal Push here, which means that our best card is just like a decent removal spell. Not the most exciting pack one, pick one, but a perfectly fine way to start things off. Pick number two, nothing great in black. Neither of these are really cards you want to take early. They're the kind of cards you want to wheel and play as your late game playables. For pick two, we have a good removal spell here, though, and a good counter spell out of blue. Those look to be the best cards in the pack by a wide margin. I do like the blue-black spells deck quite a bit, and I think Swallowed by Leviathan is a less replaceable card, a little bit more premium of a card than White Auracite to a blue-black deck than White Auracite would be to a black-white deck, because while White Auracite is a great removal spell, it is a removal spell in, again, black-white, which would be the most removal-heavy color pair, period. So I'm going to go for Swallowed by Leviathan here. The other thing I like about this is I haven't really gotten to play a pure blue-red deck ever. And so prioritizing blue highly does give me the opportunity, if red is really open, to maybe at some point get to play a blue-red deck, like if black is cut here and then red's open in this draft. Pick three, not a super exciting pack here. We have Zach Fair in white, Retrieve the Esper in blue. I think Zach's a little bit better than Retrieve the Esper, but we are one card deep into blue here, and Retrieve the Esper plays really well with some of my favorite blue commons, the Sahagins, 2 mana 1/3 that gets +1/+1 counter and unblockable every time you cast a 4 mana value non-creature spell. This is a way to put multiple creatures into your deck that also trigger the Sahagins at the same time. Plus it triggers them twice off one spell because of the flashback. I'm going to go for Retrieve the Esper over Zac. That's really all there is to this pack. Esperama's pretty mid as a saga. Pick number four, Magitech Infantry is pretty spectacular. Circle of Power has also gone way up in my estimates lately. Early on in the format, I basically never even looked at this card, but now that I've played it a few times and had some good Black Mage control decks, the Wizard token plus Draw 2 plus Lifelink for the turn has been just really, really nice. All those things really add up to make it super worth that mana value, and we do have a Fatal Push here in blue-black. Is a great color pair for casting a ton of non-creature spells, so I'm going to go for Circle of Power over Magitech Infantry here. Pick number five. Well, now we really don't have much in blue or black, so now we are kind of forced to speculate either on speculative fixing like a Blitzball or a white spell like White Mage's Staff. Graha's pretty fine as well. I've played a whole bunch of Grahas because I've played a whole bunch of white in this format. I think it's better to just take a very solid 2-drop over a good 5-drop, though. There's just a lot more room for more 2-mana spells. Yeah, I'm not really high on the speculative fixing here. I'll just take a White Mage's Staff. Pick six, Scorpion Sentinel's fine in blue. Fourayer's not good in black. So Sentinel if we want to stick on color, or push over to that White Heart in white. It's pretty good with job select equipment. It's good against removal spells. And it's fine to just flash in. Yeah, I like Ambrosia more than I like Scorpion Sentinel. And we're certainly not completely committed to any color yet. Although pick 7 Lock Coal is solid for blue-black. Shinra Reinforcements is also okay in this color pair. You do have a lot of flashback cards, as well as some cards that care about what's in your graveyard, like Swallowed by Leviathan. So Reinforcements wouldn't be bad either, but certainly Lock Coal is better than them. There's a decent removal spell in white, but I like the Signpost Uncommon here as a good sign to go into blue-black. Pick 8, now we get a Shinra Reinforcements. Blue, black, and white certainly looking like the best colors to be in here. There's You're Not Alone, Restoration Magic still. I also don't mind Dwarven Castle card as a filler creature. Although a Town Greeter still here is a good sign for green. There's a lot of good cards in this pack. Pick 9, there's a Marlborough or a blue-black duel. I like Marlborough a lot. The creatures that enter and make your opponent discard a card have played pretty well, and the 4/4 body on this one means it's always at least a 2-for-1. Your opponent discards a card and the 4/4 will trade off into something. Yeah, honestly, I know I should take fixing more highly, but I think Marlboro is just a very, very good common. Pick 10, nothing much. We did wheel the 2 filler black cards here. But I don't think either's going to be particularly good in here. I think I'd honestly rather have a merchant. But even that I'm not excited about. Black Mage's Rod will be solid in here. We have a really high non-creature count already. Got 3 solid white cards for a backup plan here. Albeit, it would have to be an aggressive deck for the You're Not Alone to really count. But we get really lucky in this draft and open up a blue-black mythic, and we can take that and never look back. Emmet Selk is really, really nice. It's going to be incredibly rare that you would ever flip him, but a 2/4 Vigilance that draws a card and discards a card the turn you play it and every turn you attack with it is just incredible card selection on a very solid stat line for the mana cost. So I've been very impressed with Emmet Selk during the Arena Directs, so I'm going to grab Emmet here. Pack 2, pick 2, we have a OG Counterspell. That's probably the pick, or Thief's Knife. Don't have a bunch of super evasive creatures right now to slap the knife onto, so I'm pretty happy to just take Counterspell. Sadly, another draft pod, another day, another non-blue-red deck. I'll never get to live the dream. Pick 3, Resentful Revelation is a great card selection. It's also putting stuff in your grave, which is relevant. We have at least one flashback card in here, as well as at least one card that cares about what's in our grave. Actually, 2 of them, Emmet Selk and Swallowed by Leviathan. So, love me a Resentful Revelation. Pick number 4, there's that Scorpion Sentinel for a solid early blocker. We could try to splash in a Tella, which honestly would probably be quite strong in this deck. We have mostly non-creature spells, which will trigger and give us 1/1 heroes, and we have some that are mana value 4 or greater to trigger the draw 2 off this as well. This isn't an early play either. It's a 5 mana spell, so we don't need to hit our splash color until later. I'm going to take Tella here. Might not get to be a blue-red deck at the core, but we get to be another Grixis strategy. Cornered by Black Mages could be a little hard to cast if we are playing 3 colors. We're splashing in a 3rd here. However, black I think is going to be the core color, so this will be the easiest double color card to hit. I guess our Counterspell also just got worse now that we're splashing in for a red card. The mana is going to be the biggest issue here. Now we're going to have to take lands really highly. But Cornered by Black Mages is the only card that would be relevant in this deck. Yeah, I'll probably have to take Vector over Ice Magic, despite Ice Magic being quite solid for this kind of deck. I really, really, really need to have some premium fixing to be able to play double black, double blue cards, and splash in a red card. Pick 7. Probably not playing World Map or Magic Pots, but that's the only thing that's close to getting played. I would like the mana fixing to just be all lands themselves, if we can get there. Take another 2-drop creature here, Monk's Fist, just for an early blocker. I'm not going to play double World Map, so... I'm also not going to play Aerial Unit, though, right? We don't have a particularly good artifact count, so this will be like a 6-mana 5/4 flyer at best. 7-mana 5/4 flyer lot. I guess we're not really going to play any of this, but I still think Aerial Unit would be better than a second World Map. Namazu Trader gives us a treasure token towards our Telesplash. That could be solid. Pick 11, Undercity Dire Rat gives us a treasure token towards the Telesplash when we trade it off. Not going to splash in a Garland as well. However, maybe I end up in Rakdos Splash Blue. I feel like it's better to speculate than to take an Ahriman. That card's just okay filler, and I have one anyway. But I am way deeper in black than I am on blue. So maybe black, red, splash, blue becomes a thing. There's a Buster Sword. We're going to have great rares in this deck. Maybe I'll just cast Tella for free without paying its mana cost. Don't even need the red mana. Maybe that's the plan. Okay, the Buster Sword makes me want to be a more creature-heavy deck, where red could get the nod over blue, but this is a lot of blue spells. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. That said, like, am I happy to play Nuliths or Ice Plan in a blue-black deck? Not particularly. Am I happy to play Katana or Thunder Magic? Incredibly happy. In Rakdos. Thunder Magic, I think, has to be the pick here, because it's going to be good if we're blue-black splash red or if we're black-red at the core. Katana is the better card by card quality by a little bit, but it's more narrow in terms of which deck it would fit in. I'm not splashing in Katana in a pure, in a blue-black, like, Grixis control-y deck. Pick 3, alright, we get an Ultimecia here, that's nice. Syncopate's also nice, Marlboro's nice. This is a very good pack. Even the Salvagers I wouldn't be particularly unhappy with. Alright, let's just make a pile of interaction now. And card draw. And then have the creature curve over here. Garland, probably not there. For blue-black at the core, Fourayer's not very good. Aerial unit's not going to be good here. Creature. If this were an on-color duel, this would be a great pack to take it, but since it's not, we just have Brainstorm, I guess? Which is like incredible in constructed formats because of the existence of fetch lands, so you can draw 3 and then put 2 cards you don't want back on top and just shuffle them away, period. But in draft, this plays a lot closer to just draw 1, and that's it. Because you're putting 2 cards from your hand back on top, basically just redrawing those same 2 cards the next couple turns. Like, I guess they work with land cyclers, but it's really not a very, very high pickup in draft. Okay, I have a good creature count for Buster Sword, that's nice. We could take another Resentful Revelation, another Retrieve the Esper. Gaius. I think our deck is much happier to have a Retrieve or a Resentful Revelation. I like Revelation when we're lower on fixing as a way to dig towards the right lands. We are passing up another 4 mana value card to work with Tella, but Tella's the only card in our deck that cares about 4 mana value or higher instants and sorceries, and Tella still works with cheaper instants and sorceries. Tella's still going to be doing good work if we just cast a 2 mana spell. So I'm not massively concerned with our quantity of high mana value spells. I could absolutely be in the wrong on this one, but I think I'm taking Cornered by Black Mages over Blue-Red Duel. You know what? No, that's got to be wrong. I'll take the duel. I'll take the duel. God, that card's so awesome for this kind of deck, though. Here's the Blue-Black Duel over Marlboro or Rod. That one's a little easier. Another Revelation. Cool. Ice Magic here. Grixis Control. Here we go. Goodbye, World Map. Now I have 3 different ways to maybe get a treasure token and 2 red dual lands. Okay, we're going to have to cut a few cards before we hop into the gameplay here. See what we want to cut. Probably filler creatures like the Merchant, maybe. Although the draw and discard from the Merchant is another way that we can dig towards lands, but we have Emmet Selk and Lock Cole both doing the same thing, of drawing and discarding over and over, but they do it a lot more efficiently. Yeah, I think we cut the Merchant in here. It feels slightly redundant there. In the 3-drop slot and being just a card selection card. A looter. I've got a good chunk of card draw spells that are just better than Brainstorm and Draft, with 3 copies of Resentful Revelation, and then a lot of draw and discard and the draw 2 off Circle of Power, so I think we cut Brainstorm. Monk's Fist. Makes us pretty low on cheap creatures, but we have 2 cheap removal spells as well. I guess Thunder Magic doesn't count as cheap. We gotta wait till we hit our splash color for that. And maybe I do still need Monk's Fist for an early creature to trade off, but I still think it's the weakest card we have left in our deck. We'll just play a little off curve. Just play a bunch of Revelations on 2. Hope to hit solid interaction from there. Yep, let's cut a mountain here for another swamp probably. Oh yeah. 7, 8, 9 black sources, 6, 7, 8 blue sources, and 1, 2, 3 red sources seems right to me, especially with treasure tokens. So we'll call it a deck here, hop into the gameplay, see how this does. Alright, here we are on the play for game 1. No blue source in the opener, but we have the splashed in red source for Tella. So there's 8 blue sources that we can draw into that get us towards one of our best cards, being Tella Great Sage. No blue sources in the top 3 here. Still sort of feel like Ice Magic is probably better than land 4. Just a 4th black source here. Maybe even Ultimecia. I've got 2 pieces of interaction here. Yeah, I'll go for the Ultimecia. There's Torgal, a fine hound. Another swamp here. We will... I want to corner that for mana efficiency. This could be wrong, though, because Fatal Push can kill a 2-drop, but it couldn't kill a bigger creature later unless we lose a permanent that turn. So we could go for a less mana efficient turn now, just to have cornered up that could kill bigger stuff later. But we also have the issue where cornered could also kill smaller cards later, right? Like if they just play a fat Chocobo on turn 5 as their next creature, then I'm just killing a 2/2 Chocobo instead of a Torgal, which is not very good. Oh, we draw red source number 2 out of 3 before blue source 1 out of 8. That's not ideal. I should have played the black source still. But this way I can confuse our opponent, make them think we're just a Rakdos deck, which is kind of fun. Probably lead with Ultimecia if we hit an island here. I think we care less if Ultimecia dies immediately. We did not hit an island regardless. But Ariman is helpful here. We can sack the Black Mage to draw a card. That also plays really well with Fatal Push, right? We could sack it, draw a card, and then Fatal Push also has Revolt triggered, so Fatal Push would be destroying a 4 mana value card or less. Alright, or we just pull removal from our opponent, that's fine too. 1 less removal spell to use on an Ultimecia or a Tella, or even a Lock Coal. Diamond Weapon. Awesome. 4 mana, 8/8. Well, pretty hard punished for not going for the Fatal Push, but that is brutally unlikely. They have no other creatures until they play an 8/8 after the 2/2. It's kind of an insane turn of events. That's gonna happen sometimes. Sure. Sephiroth's Intervention. Go to 12. Combat damage. This is 7. I don't have enough. Still a mana off. So I need to surveil into an untapped land. Oh, Emmett, you're not the mana I need, so you go underneath. We'll have to chump this turn, soak up the 8. Against Golgari, I don't think it's crazy to go to 4, but there's some issues we could have. Since they're playing black, they could have black mage tokens. And then also, in green, they could have like Blitzball for +3/+3 trample later. to randomly kill us with something. Town Greeter for a 1/1. A land. Please tap out. I will actually cry if you have like a blitz ball to +3/+3 their weapon against the 8 damage. They did not tap out, so it's time to cry. Oh, come on, they have an instant up. Okay, it's not that. Is it fight on? Return 2 creatures from grave? Oh my god. Wow. Yeah, well, this is brutal. Because they get to pick up Vanille as well. I mean, what can you do, honestly? Might be able to flip an Emmet soon, I guess. But I might just be dead by then. So even if we had the Cornered by Black Mages, they have the recursion for the diamond weapon. Oh my. Do they have any permanents in their grave that work as removal spells? No, but they get to pick up a Genova now. Awesome. Kind of feel like I need to play Tella Fatal Push. It's the only way I get a chumper for the diamond weapon here. It's be 12 cards in grave after Fatal Push. Oh, God. Where'd you open all this removal? I guess they've drawn almost their whole deck, honestly. Well, that's enough to flip Emmet now, but Emmet doesn't flip till the upkeep, and they're gonna have a Genova out along all this point. They're playing a 4-mana 1/1 with no abilities. I wish they drew that instead. What double blue card? I only have counterspell for double blue in this deck. I'm not holding up a counterspell. Let's do this. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had the life total just hold up counterspell here against Genova. Just recast all the removal from my grave next turn, so I just want lands badly. And I can replay the rat too. If they top deck removal for Emmet, it's GG. But if not, I go to 2 life, or 1 life, I guess, if they Genova onto a small creature, and then try to just cast my whole grave against them to blow up all their creatures. So they only have whatever they just top decked. If it's a combat trick, I'm dead anyway, because they just use it on Vanille, so I might as well block the 2 there. Absolutely transform Emmet. So, nobody has 2 or less toughness. I can't Fatal Push either, because nobody costs 2 or less. Oh my god, man. Is this a wizard? It's an avatar now. It's no longer a wizard. Oh boy. Okay, so I could play Tella first, and then have 3 mana up to get a chumper off any spell I play. That's interesting. At 3 mana, I wouldn't be able to Thunder Magic anything. I could Cornered by Black Mages and have 2 chumps. I could Ice Magic. I could 4 mana by playing a Swamp, and then I can go Ice Magic, Black Mage's Rod. During your turn, period. Okay. So I can't Ice Magic at instant speed. Okay, okay, okay. This looks real. Then I hold up Counterspell every other turn of the game now, just to protect Hades. Shinra reinforcements? Alright, if I can protect Hades here, they mill out before me. They got the Cactuar in there too. Opponent went all rares all day. They got Cactuar, Grimoire, Genova. Um, yeah, that's scary. They have no combat tricks. These are both mutants though, aren't they? So they'll let them draw. They have 7 cards left in their deck. Draw 7? Show me a Laboratory Maniac? Island Laboratory Maniac. I guess I have the removal for it anyway. If they did. The double-edged sword of Genova. It's so rare that that ability is a downside on Genova, but it happens. Especially in Golgari South Mill. We could still die here. They could have something that makes a Black Mage, like a Black Mage's Rod. They could go Black Mage's Rod, Black Mage's Rod, and then during their untap step before they draw, they could kill us with some instants. Just we're only at 3 life. I mean, they could kill us with a single Black Mage's Rod. Overkill? Alright. And then world map, and then we win, I believe. I'm gonna not lose a life here. I'm just gonna pass. Alright. That did not seem winnable. From the diamond weapon onward, the start of that game did not go out ideally. I did, state that there is the argument between Fatal Push or Corner by Black Mages there, and that played really poorly for us going for the Corner by Black Mages instead of the Fatal Push because we took a lot more diamond weapon swings than we needed to. They would have had to at least wait 2 more turns because they'd have to fight on and recast it before they get a swing in if we just held on to Corner by Black Mages instead of the Fatal Push. But the game goes on so long, in fact, and we cast 2 revelations that our grave was full enough to flip Emmet Selk, and you do just straight up win the game if you flip Emmet Selk. As you see there, our opponent was way, way, way ahead on board, but flipping into Hades, having our whole graveyard at our disposal, that's at least 14 cards by the time you transform them, that's just always going to win you the game. So really, really lucky there. We got to 14 cards in grave and got to do the oops, I win on our mythic rare. That's going to be 1-0 heading into game 2. Very good hand here for game 2. I mean, there's only one piece of interaction, but with the revelations fell in the grave, this gets to counter basically anything. And with 2 revelations in the hand, that gets to do a lot of digging towards the red source for Tella. And we saw last game how good Tella is in such a spell-heavy deck like this. Very solid first draw, drawing our tap lands to play it when we're not playing anything that turn anyway. Our opponent also has a great start. Start off with Garnet over there. Gain a bunch of life in the early game. Not interested really in any of this. We'll just take an Ahriman. They are a green deck, so just having a Death Toucher against some big creature later could be good. Sarah... If they have 2 or more other legends, they're going to buff all their legends, and that's going to be sketchy for me. This is where I kind of wish that Revelation was instant speed, because if Sarah flips, that's super, super bad. Give them all +2/+2. They have 2 others. It's a 4/4, and then the next legend is going to be really cheap. I feel like I'm holding up a counterspell here. The problem is if they don't cast something that needs to be countered, like a good legend. But if I just tap out for like the Death Toucher here and then they play a great legend, we're not in a good spot at all. Okay, that's bad enough. And the Surveil is very valuable right now. It's a Misia. Oh, man. Not the exact draws I'm looking for. I guess we just play a 3-4. I should have kept the Thunder Magic. That would have been an incredible turn. I totally forgot I was getting a treasure. Get a 3-4 and then just kill Sarah or Garnet. Yeah, that was sloppy. I totally forgot this thing was making a treasure. Although I suppose by not doing that, I know I get to play a Tella, but now they just have a flipped Sarah with infinite legends on the board. That's kind of absurd. Fatal Push one time. Absolute poop. I'll draw a bunch of cards off the Graha here. Yeah, we need to play the lifelink block first. I think we punted the game, not just keeping the Thunder Magic, because if the turn was 3-4 plus Thunder Magic, like they cast all these legends and then I just kill Sarah anyway, and they don't have the buffs, we would be super winning. Alright, so we kill Zach here and stop all this damage. Got the Death Toucher for the 6-8, and then I play a 4-5 for the 4-4. Don't get to play both right now. So we'll get the tap land out of the way. Fenrir, that's very good here. That's 2 creatures off the 1 card with the racetrack. Yeah, that's too many creatures, especially if we top deck a land. If I hit basically any spell with Tella, we'd still be in this, but all lands. All right. All right, here we are for game number 3. We're 1-1 right now. Last game was super winnable, but I totally forgot about our treasure token for the cheap removal. So disappointing. One little play there flips that game on its head from very winning to very losing. I'm gonna lead with Lock Coal. I gain a bunch of life while I draw and discard, and I would much rather Lock Coal get killed than Emmett. Cool. Sleep Magic it is. Should try to keep in mind we have a Thunder Magic we have in this deck that we could poke Lock for 1. Well, 2 technically. Man, Fire Magic is really good against Sleep Magic, dealing 1 damage to like every creature or 2 damage to every creature. So you could like blow up all your opponent's little stuff and save your own card from a Sleep Magic. That would be like the dream. I am not gonna sack Lock Cold to Surveil 2. I keep him to draw a card off Ariman. Venser. No red splash if I counter Venser here. I think it's worth it though. I do need to make sure to put at least one card in grave when I do this. I'm happy to put both in grave. Work our way towards 14 cards for Emmett. When neither of those are particularly great draws. Revelation would have been pretty decent, but I don't care too much about the 3-4 here. I'll just play an Emmett instead. Black Mage's Rod, that's a solid one. How do I lose this game? Right, we're really ahead right now. I feel like I only really lose if I overcommit and then they Ultima and destroy all creatures. So I'm gonna not play Emmett. Emmett will be our backup if they board wipe. That way, if they board wipe, I still have, you know, a 6/6 that recasts everything from grave, which is crazy good. Find the red source. Beautiful. They're down to 7. We've got the pinger out. And there's the concession from our opponent. That's 2-1 heading into game 4. Solid curve here with multiple treasure tokens lying around, which is going to be relevant because there's Tella. Opponent starts with one of my favorite ways to start on turn 2, Ilmeg Pixie. That card is incredible. Gets a ton of chip damage in the sky and sets up your draws for the rest of the game. Premium uncommon. There's Scorpion Sentinel to stop our attacks on the ground here. Here's Emmett. Do some digging, make sure we keep hitting our mana. That is our mana. Technically, I just play Trader next turn. I already have the 5 for both of these, so I'm going to ditch the 4th island here. Town Greeter. They mill 4, pick up a Plains. So they've got all 3 of their colors, blue, green, and white. Tons of 2-drops in blue and green, so I assume white is the splash. Or they're just on a full Bant deck. Sleep Magic on Emmett is fine. Yep, Emmett can still transform if we get to 14 cards in grave. So we know if we reach 14 cards in grave, we just win the game. Let's try to make this game go long. It's a lot of Goo Gardener. That was 2 in a row there. I guess there was a card between them, whatever they drew in the draw step. Shoot Emmett. Save him from Sleep Magic. Okay, this is fine. I don't really care about the rat. Retrieve the Esper is the draw. Much as I would love to play Tella here, we need to kill this Pixie now. It's going to be hitting for 4 a turn with the Lionheart on it. So I cannot afford to keep taking those hits. Cycling here because we need a lot of mana to get Tella things going. I'm going to be drawing 2 when I cast Retrieve the Esper if I have Tella on board. Then I'm going to need the mana to play all those cards as quickly as possible. I need to be able to deploy as much stuff as possible in one turn, and sadly they have the Slash of Light for the flyer. Let's see if we can draw any of our removal. It has been hiding so far. Cornered by Black Mages does not work, but all the other removal does. Fatal Push, Thunder Magic, Ice Magic, We don't have that much removal in this deck. We got a couple counter spells that don't help us here, like Swallowed by Leviathan. Right on cue. Probably have to Surveil first instead of playing Thela here. I guess if I play Thela and they don't have an additional removal spell, then next turn when I retrieve the Esper, I draw 2. And that's basically the same as Surveil 2 right now. I don't really care about a quantity of cards. I just need one removal spell. Not a bunch of cards. Yeah, mill. This would be a tragic death here. Just died a 1 pixie. Almost halfway through the deck now, though, and if they don't kill Ultimisia, we can dig even farther. That said, if Ultimisia is digging again, then that means we didn't draw it here. Oh, boy. All right. Slightly more than halfway through our deck, but we found one. Thunder Magic and hold up Swallowed by Leviathan here. And I cannot afford to attack. Awesome. Could flip Ultimisia next to end step. But if I do that, I'm not getting towards Emmet. I feel like Emmet is the better win con here, so we can just play Tella and start doing that stuff instead. Alright, so the plan is to kill Ultimisia so they can get in with their 4/4. If this were any other removal spell, this would be an instant counter. But because it's Stroke of Midnight, I get a 1/1. I can double block this with 2/4. No, they have a Lionheart on board. Never mind. Yeah, because I can't let this resolve because they have Lionheart on board. If they didn't have the equipment, I think it would be reasonable to let it resolve. Then I still have the double block for Sentinel. And Ultimisia would be engraved, so I'd have 14 engraved for Emmet if I Swallowed by Leviathan something else during their turn. Oh, they just have double stroke. The mid removal over there, but works well with that Lionheart on board. Luckily, Emmet's just going to flip and kill them now because they're out of cards. They've got one flashback card in the grave. Yeah, we got there. Stroke gives us the chump. Beautiful. Wee. GG. Need to do 5 damage here, which I can't do. So we just play a Death Toucher. Can't Swallowed by Leviathan because it's only during my turn. So we just play another Chumper and a tap land for the turn. I'm not going to block with Ariman here because one of the few ways that we could die is if they top decked a Blitzball to trample over the little Death Toucher. So I would just double block with these two instead, and then I could still recast them from grave anyway. Okay, Fatal Push is the draw. That's pretty good on the Scorpion Sentinel here. Let's get Tella down first to make sure I have all the Chumpers in the world. Now I am just dead if they ever draw like a Blitzball shot. Because again, I can't counter it. Because I can't cast my graveyard spells during their turn. So I would just need like 11 toughness over here. Play a 2-mana spell, I guess. If I crack a treasure, that's not going to happen. Let's pass. Can't attack into this because I can't deal damage even with Death Touchers. I need to draw Ice Magic, or Cornered by Black Mages would work because I can kill the Town Greeter and then corner the Diamond Weapon. So there's Combat Tutorial. They draw 2, get a counter on the Greeter. They buff up the Greeter with the Lionheart. Send both, alright. Cool with me. Jump there. Trade there. Looking for Cornered by Black Mages still. Planisphere, that's a scary one. But it's not Cornered by Black Mages. 4 mana non-creature spell, and I get to draw 2 here and see if I can find it. So I'll do that. Ice Magic. Since I can double spell with the Ice Magic, I think that's more than worth it. Also draw 2 off of it again. When I say double spell, I mean I can recast it again later, because it's in my hand and not my grave right now. So just do it now for 4, and then I can do it for 8 next turn. Shuffle in the thing, and also deal 8 to them, Sactella. In fact, I think I'm just using this treasure because I have a natural red source at this point. Maximize the damage output on the board, so they tap out, play the Diamond Weapon. I deal with the Diamond Weapon, attack with everybody. That should be lethal. Because Tella sacks itself and deals a million here. I just need double blue for Ice Magic. I've got quadruple blue. I mean, I need the 8 total, but I don't need double red or anything. And I hit double red anyway if I did need it. Oh. Okay, even the spells from your hand go into exile. Okay. Sorry, I've never played with a Yawgmoth's Will before. Okay, then. Well, shoot. So we gotta go wide then. Here's Marlborough, get rid of their last card. Buster Sword to get a 1/1. Yeah, we're going wide. 2-turn kill still. All right, there's the concession from our opponent. The Wombo combo of Emmett Selk and Tella just going crazy again, and we're 3-1. Could be 4-0 if I played this out perfectly. So if we don't get a 7-win run here, it's mostly to human error during the gameplay. It is what it is. 3-1 heading to game 5. Solid opener here on the play for game 5. A little bit of a curve out going for us, plus a counterspell to hold up later. Playing against a red deck. Might not get to play our 4-drop on turn 4. We hit a tap land here with the Airship Kingdom. Green-red from our opponent. There's a Thunder Magic. I like that draw a lot. That way, if we don't hit the land turn 4, we can hold up a Swallowed by Leviathan for anything that we can't kill with Thunder Magic. And then this, just Thunder Magic, anything that we can kill. That feels pretty good for a turn 4 if we're playing tap land on that turn. They have Thunder Magic, Dar, Ahriman. Wanderings, they're just ramping up. Are they 5-color here? Or at least 4-color, grabbing a white or a black source? I mean, they get a town, so if they are, we'll definitely find out. Yep, that's the full 5-color. They grab the black-white land. All right, we hit the land for Circle of Power, so I can just do that here. Let them resolve something next turn. 4 toughness or less, I can just kill it with Thunder Magic immediately anyway. I might even be able to retrieve the Esper and Thunder Magic small thing. Oh, they don't even play something after the ramp turn? All right. We are ahead on board right now, which is usually when you want to just hold up counters, but we're not dramatically ahead on board. To where if they just cast like 2 3-drops or something next turn, it would have been better to just play a 3-3 or a 3-4 right now. I guess I'm only a turn off, realistically, from casting a 4-mana creature and holding up a counter, because I can play the Trader, get the treasure token, use the treasure token to cast Swallowed by Leviathan. Alright, that worked fine. Just counter an Ultimecia here. There's an Emmet. Absolutely keep that and mill the other card to fuel the Emmet. So now I can play Trader and Emmet instead. Max out the threats on board here. And we don't even really lose to a board wipe because we've got to retrieve the Esper for our next threats. There's a Revelation to flash back out of the grave as well to make sure we still have cards to play around with. Like this position. Unless they have pretty much exactly a board wipe, we're in a really good spot. And if they have exactly a board wipe, we're still in this game. But they would be favored. Tap the Trader. Take 1 instead of 3 from it. Emmet finds Tella. That's pretty nasty. And flashback is a heck of a drug. We're going to discard the Retrieve the Esper. Now I've got an Ultimecia post board wipe. That doesn't get to immediately take an extra turn because I have to tap out to cast her. But would get to the turn after. There's a Sid. Chokebo kick the Tella. Yep. Pay 1. They take 1, 2, 3, 4. Because of the Black Mage, it's lethal if I kill Sid here. They go to 5. They tap the Trader, which puts them to 4, and then they take 4. Ooh. Treachery is not lethal to them. Because they don't have to pay the life to stop the damage with that one. But they are at 1 life. With no cards in hand. And the draw is Dragoon's Wyvern, the double chump. But I have non-creature spells in grave. So we just cast 1 and ping. And that is 4 and 1. Guaranteed a positive record out of this draft, no matter what now. Again, had I played perfectly, 5 and 0 here is where we could have been. This deck has been phenomenal. I did not think it was quite this good. I did think it was pretty solid, but it's lacking a bit on the removal, as we saw in a previous game there, when we really desperately needed a removal for the flyer, and I just like drew into a counterspell. Like we have maybe like 8 pieces of interaction, but 2 of them are counter spells, and this kind of deck really wants like 10 plus minimum. So that is the biggest flaw I think in our deck here. Bit of a lack of removal. But we got good card draw to help dig to it, and this hand has a good amount of removal in it for this kind of strategy. I like this start. Got all 3 of our colors as well. This looks great. Looks even better with a black mage on the board to start pinging. Double them up with a cornered by black mages next turn. Although there was that one game we almost lost going for the cornered by black mages instead of just a fatal push on a creature that could have died to a fatal push. So now could be our opportunity to try to fix that. They are blue-red, so like if I fatal push the 2-drop, then I know I have cornered for like a Tela later. Blue-red doesn't tend to have a ton of creatures, so it's an archetype I expect them to actually have to sacrifice something real to corner by black mages more often than not. The one way that blue-red I think has, I guess there's 2. There's 2 ways blue-red has to really get around cornered by black mages. They have the Dragoon's Wyvern. That's 2 creatures off 1 spell, and then they just sack the hero token. But they also have the Chocobo. The Call the Mountain Chocobo would be good. Alright, Syncopate's gonna suck for me, period. If I don't get the Syncopate out of their hand now, it's just gonna counter something much worse for us. So if they got it, they got it. I'm not playing around Syncopate for my 3/3. Call the Mountain Chocobo, that is the card that gets around cornered by black mages pretty well. Gets around any 1/1 removal pretty well, in fact. Turn off from a Marlboro here. But yeah, now I'm casting my entire Fatal Push to deal with 1/4 of their Call the Mountain Chocobo, basically. Right, like I didn't kill the mountain, and I didn't kill the other mountain and the other Chocobo that's coming later. Yeah, I think blue-red is probably a really bad matchup for this deck because they have a lot of 2-for-1 spells. Retrieve the Esper certainly counts. Skip out on Marlboro for a turn to just push damage here. Seems reasonable. Could they have the 1-mana deal too? So that would cost them a lot of mana to actually kill one of the more relevant creatures. They could kill our wizard here, though, if they want. Nope. 6 mana up for our opponent. They're down to 10, but they've got a lot more cards to play around with than us, which is where things get sketchy. Combat tutorial, they want even more cards. Sure. And a sleep magic on the trader. All right. Yeah, the 5 toughness that got them was pretty good here. This is a hard choice. I can Ice Magic Sentinel and hit for 5 this turn, then they're at 5 life. Or I can Marlboro or retrieve the Esper to expand this board. I think I just want to just go all damage all day, right? I could Ice Magic our own trader and replay it, but it's better getting their thing out of the way. Oh yeah, it's a double ping. I forgot about the other wizard for some reason. So this puts them to 4, not 5. Yeah, that's definitely worth it then. We have a lose 2 off the Marlboro, so if I just cast one more non-creature spell and then play Marlboro, they're dead. Thunder Magic that. Okay, so I need to re-equip before I play another non-creature spell. So we'll play Marlborough first then while they're tapped out of a counter spell. So I don't want to play Retrieve the Esper without the Black Mage's Rod equipped to something. Because obviously the instant lethal is a big deal. Should probably put it on the Namazu Trader, because that's something they're not going to want to throw removal at. Yeah, we've got them to spend most of their cards now. They just have the flashbacks and one card in hand. That card in hand is very relevant, stuck in Summoner Sanctum on the Marlborough. Attack here is bold. That, in fact, gets the Mega killed. Although I guess they were dead without. Because I just draw the Revelation and just double ping. Alright. That is 5-1. We are now in the money out of this draft, wherever things go from here. Alright, here we are for game number 7. Redemption round. Remember that Namazu Trader can cast Thunder Magic this time. That was our one loss, was just forgetting that that was a thing. The treasure token could shoot with the Thunder Magic, and we could have stopped the Sarah there. Alright. Our opponent starts things off with a Plains and pass. Here's our Swamp Pass. See how they respond. Dwarven, Castle Guard on 2. Trying to the Ice Magic here for something to do turn 3. Easiest no blocks of my life. They are black-white, very aggressive color pair, and there's the Dragoon Lance. Ice Magic that token for sure. Push little damage here because I'm not trading off our hero on blocks against their card that spits out a creature when it dies. Play something with 2 or less toughness and no death trigger, please, so that I get to go Trader and Thunder Magic next turn. No! Well, they're stuck on 2 mana, and a 3/4 blocker is going to hold them off, so that is the plan now. They can't re-equip the Lance till they're at 4 mana total. Well, they top decked a land. Land 3 has arrived. Treachery, that's pretty bad. Yep. I do have a second Trader, or a Marlborough to play. I think I'd rather play the second Trader than use the treasure on Marlborough here. When we have no natural red sources. Just see if we can hold those around. Resentful Revelation. Look for some mana here. Mill 2 non-land cards? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I imagine that means they took a land. And they did. Red-white dual land, so they're actually a 3-color aggro deck. Probably just splashing into red from what we've seen. So there might be some really scary red rare mythic here, like a lightning or something. It's Revelation ourselves, looking for a land of our own. These cards might be too strong to pick the land over the Fatal Push in particular, with treasure tokens on board. Go land, retrieve the Esper right now, though. Still have a Thunder Magic. They've got 4 more threats in their hand, probably. I feel like the only way I lose is if I run out of removal, so I'm going to take Fatal Push here. And we're going to have to say goodbye to one treasure and just keep the one for Thunder Magic. Or if we top deck Tella, do that instead. Dragoon's Lance is definitely concerning. No flying or reach on our board. Maybe should have even just attacked with the trader here. We might need to start putting pressure on them to close the gap in life totals and try to outrace them if they go for just flying counterattacks. Capital City. It's land number 5. Delivery Moogle. That card is bonkers good. Do they have double Dragoon's Lance? That would be insane. Nope, just pick up a Magitech infantry so they can start making their army here. That makes sense. Okay. Obviously treasure tokens don't untap during our turn, so it's better to just do it during our turn. We'll have just as much mana untapped, and then Fatal Push is active if we need that as an option. We have drawn another red source. That makes me feel a lot more confident and comfortable cracking this treasure. I think we're killing the Moogle and the infantry here. Which means I don't even need the revolt trigger technically on Fatal Push, but hey. And this is us just putting the pressure on them so that they're not just outracing us in the sky here. Probably just killing a 1/1 or hitting for 3. Either way is pretty good for me. Although if they do try to go for the multi-block, that's going to be really good for me. But I have a bunch of mana open, so that'd be very bold from our opponent. Although the way we played it, we did go main phase removal spell the Moogle, so that might make it look a little less likely that I'm playing more removal right now. But I am. Goodbye, infantry. Venat, that is terrifying. Oh no. Oh no. All threats. All the time from our opponent. Venat is super, super bad. They just go land, flip, kill one of my best cards, and win the game off this thing. That is unfortunate. I do think I needed to kill. I definitely had to kill the flyer. I think I needed to kill infantry as well, because again, this card threatens to be 3 2/1s. They just untap and activate it twice next turn. It's also really bad for me. Yeah, it is what it is. They just had a bomber backup as well. Okay, we really, really need to race now. So Snow's trading into one of these. Could go Castle Guard and 1/1 into the other, I suppose. Or take the damage, alright. We are racing. They're 4. Exile the Mughals Valor, that's a good one. Do they have land 7? They do not. That's good. Yes, there was always that distinct possibility that they did not have another land there because they were stuck on mana when they were on 2 lands. So unless almost every draw of the whole game was a land. And then they need to wait a little bit here. This trades into the 4-3. This, they don't have a good trade for unless they lose Venat. Definitely retrieve pre-combat to make sure I get my ping. Yeah, that works too. Kill 2 dudes instead of 1. I was expecting Castle Guard on the 4-3 and just 1-1 on the other one. I'm a little happier with this. We're killing the cat as well. Everybody but Venat. I guess with Emmett Selk in this deck, we could start holding lands now. White or a sight. There goes the 5/5 token. And that's the mana I need to flip Venat and kill another one of our cards. Let's hold up a black. And yeah, black and a blue-red, perfect mana. Well, there's Emmett. 8 cards in grave. This will put 2 more back in, though. This will be 10 cards in grave. Play a rat. I have a creature right now. All 3 of these are such viable choices. It's kind of nuts. Attack, chump, flip, blow that up. They're facing a 1/1 and 2/2, and I kill them. I think it's the rat. Is that crazy? It's kind of crazy, but I think it's the rat. Right, they chump here, then they flip Venat and kill this 4/3. They've got the 5/5 blocker up, but it's a 5/5 blocker against a 2/2 and a 1/1, and I can equip the 1/1 to make it a 2/1 and a 2/2, and one of the 2 hits them and they die. They don't have the mana to flip Venat and play another creature. So if the play next turn is flip Venat, rat kills them. If the play next turn is not, then it means they do something really good, and that is a super problem. A major problem. All right, here we go. That's the line for next turn lethal if they just flip. Oh! Come on, Arena. Oh my god, you can't do this to me. 2 spells and we win. If we draw Resentful Revelation, we still double ping. Wow. Okay, this is a good draw. This is not instant lethal, but it's a good draw. Oh my god. Oh. Only have the mana for 1 spell I top deck. I could top deck Cornered by Black Mages, Lock Coal or Buster Sword for 3 mana or less, or Resentful Revelation. There's one counterspell that requires double blue. So I have one Corner by Black Mages that needs double black and one counterspell that needs double blue. I have to tap out of one of the two. I think Cornered by Black Mages is actually more relevant than Counterspell here because their best play next turn is not a spell, it's an ability. So I'll tap out a Counterspell but hold up Cornered by Black Mages. Wait. Am I dead if I do this? Clear out this because they have to because it's flying. Then they have 4 attackers, block. But I'm sacking a Heroes here, so I block 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I'm not dead if I do this, but it's probably still better to do it during their turn. No, it's not, because I can't do it on blocks anyway. If I pass and wait till blocks, they flip, they kill this, and then it's not even going to be on board by the time I can declare blocks. Yeah, no, I have to just do it now. I guess if I do it on the rat instead of the 1/1, that's 2 sacks. While still having the same number of blockers. It's not like the rat's getting through on the ground. Right. Man. Okay. So they have to flip the net, kill the flyer. I draw treasure here. They're still dead to any 2 spells. I still have 2 Resentful Revelations left in the deck. We only drew 1 this game. Resentful Revelation's the biggest win condition I have, because that's the almost guaranteed way with how small my deck is now to cast 2 spells in 1 turn and just ping them twice. Is this another non-Venat flip? Just runner on great spells that are better than exile any permanent? And put a +1/+1 counter on this board every turn? Please, no. Okay, it is just that. Tella, not very helpful. Ironically. I just need spells. Oh my god, Arena. We have 6 non-creature spells left. 3 of them are card draw, Circle of Power, double rev. I think I'm dead to Dragoon's Lance here. Maybe I missed some damage early. These late game draws were bad. Wow. Winota. One of the most busted bonus sheet cards now. So they get to flip 4 creatures onto the board if they just attack with everybody. So they get to all-out attack without even worrying about a crackback here. I guess I'm 1 damage from dead. They equip the lance. Oh no, can it put a counter on itself? It can't put a counter on itself, so I'm not dead on board. But I lose the game if I don't top deck perfectly here. Which I guess I've had enough turns that would realistically, hopefully, find one here. So we have missed turn over turn. Oh, they go tapped and attacking? Wow. Never mind. Yeah, I forgot how broken Winota is. Jesus Christ. Might as well gain 3 as well. That's really frustrating. We still had a ton of outs. If they didn't Winota us, we would be at 1 and could still win off of drawing any of the 3 draw spells. Pretty much any of those 3 would just guarantee lethal, thanks to the card draw. Rough game. That is 5-2 heading into game 8. All right, here we are for game number 8. Very solid opening hand. We are on the draw here. Yep, that's an early Finn. Scary. I'll take a little bit of poison here. It's only 1 actual damage. So next turn I get to hold up Swallowed by Leviathan and probably just Fatal Push a Finn. Demon Wall. I don't think I'm Fatal Pushing a Demon Wall, but it's the only way I'm hitting them at all. Yeah, I'm taking 2 poison a turn, and then Finn gets to trade into my biggest creature later. Let's push the Finn. I mean, I don't care about the poison at all, so we'll take 2 more poison and then push Finn in the end step, just in case they play a better 2-mana creature. They definitely exist. They could cast them in main phase 2. Okay, they don't. Here's Fatal Push. Remand. 4, 5, 6 curve. That makes sense to me. It's a lot of Marlboros getting cycled. That is terrifying. Makes me think they've got like a Sin or something at like 7 mana. I might just start holding up Swallowed by Leviathan next turn. Oh, Summon Titan for 5. Well, shoot. Honestly, not the absolute end of the world. We're going to take a big hit here. They only have 6 mana up next turn, so they don't even have like 7 for Sin anyway. Yeah, we'll hold up Swallowed by Leviathan the turn after this. Obviously, Titan's not great for me, but we just take 1 7 damage hit, and then it's just gone. If they don't have another creature to give the power to, because if they give it to Demon Wall, they have to activate the ability. I guess they have the mana for that, 6. Well, this is not great. Maybe I'm supposed to trade Ultimecia off. If they don't have a combat trick, this is on board. Just Titan for Ultimecia as the trade. Next turn they give +6/+6 trample. So they have a 11/11 trample menace. Oh my god. I'm pretty dead to that. I guess I need to allow the Ultimecia trade. Or if they have a removal spell here, they tap out for that. And Titan's going to die next turn anyway, so it's not the worst. Okay, if they have the combat trick removal spell, that's pretty bad. It's cheap enough they get to cast something else here and still keep the Titan. Yeah, that was a super bad card for them to have there for us. Super good for them. Alright, well, at least we still stopped all the damage, so that I'm not just gonna die here, but this ain't looking great. Nor are these draws. We are flooded pretty bad here. Double block, death touch straight into the demon wall here. Take a chunk of damage. I'm going to have to cast Fall by Leviathan if they try to play removal. Which means that I won't have it left if they have a second bomb like a Sin. Fight on for double Marlboro? That is horrendously bad for me. We definitely have to Slaughter by Leviathan then. Tella's the draw. I gotta draw something else to go with Tella, but we'll be fine. Because the board will be empty and they'll be tapped out. They just spend all the mana on Demon Wall. We trade off, the tapped out board's empty. We drop a Tella on the empty board and hope they don't have removal. If they do, it's over. If they don't, if I top deck a spell, then we're in business. Let's top deck a spell, shall we? Evil Reawakened Ultimecia, that's very bad for me. Because they do have the mana to get the extra turn. World map doesn't do anything. Oh, I guess it does. They didn't actually have double blue yet. An island for us. And that's game. Now I have to chump block Ultimecia, and then they get the extra turn and put me to 1 because of the 2+ and +1 counters. No, that's 0. 7 set. It's a 9/9 menace on the extra turn. We were just dead on board because we flooded pretty bad. Tragedy Strikes and 5 and 3 will be the final record for this deck. Honestly, that's probably about average for this one. Again, I don't think this one had much of a chance for a 7 winner because it is low on that removal. But the losses did still feel pretty rough. We could have been 6 and 3 had I played out our first loss perfectly. Our second loss as well, they were at 2 life, and then they just found insane spells in the end game. Maybe there were some spots I missed some damage. We could have maybe won that one as well. I don't know, some rough losses today, though. I would rather just get like mana screwed and lose on turn 2 than how we lost our second loss for sure. All right, 5 and 3 it is today. We'll take another peek at the deck, but I think this is a very strong archetype. The only flaw that we had here was our lack of removal, which again, for like an average deck, we've got a fine amount of removal. But for this sort of strategy, for the controlling Grixis ping damage kind of strategy, you do want more removal than this. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's even less than I said. It's 4 removals plus the 2 counter spells for 6 total. But you really want like 10 total, and ideally most of those to be removal spells for things that have resolved rather than counter spells for things that haven't. So yeah, we're like 4 removal spells off from I think a 7-win version of this deck. I think pretty much like every removal spell you add probably adds a win on average from where we're at here. It's maybe like a 4-3 on average build. Great rares for sure. I'm happy with the way that we drafted, but maybe I could have drafted some more removal more highly. It just felt like I didn't see a whole ton, particularly in black, unfortunately. But we did get some really good like Resentful Revelations to help this deck out a lot. That's been, you know, one of the best cards in this deck. Emmet Selk was the biggest overperformer. We actually flipped it multiple times, which rarely happens. But when it does, it's just an automatic win. Tello was also pretty good. Yeah, I think everything in the deck worked out pretty dang well. I don't have too many complaints about it. Just needed a bit more removal to really get there for the trophy run. That is gonna do it. That is 5-3 for today's draft. But that is gonna end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.